everyone, Christy here with Rise Pilates and Pelvic Health. Today I wanted to share with you how I like to determine if somebody has some pelvic floor weakness going on. And I like to assess that by determining how well you can manage your inner abdominal pressure using your core strength and your pelvic floor strength. So if you're somebody who, when you cough or sneeze and you get a little bit of leakage from that, then you might need to work on strengthening, but it could also be tension or too much tightness in that area. But that's a can of worms that we'll talk about another time. Just know that it could be both things, and this one is just to talk about the strengthening element. So you're gonna need a balloon for this, and just come to a comfortable seated position. You're gonna take one hand on your lower belly, and then we're gonna breathe into the balloon. When you breathe into the balloon, I want you to notice if your belly pushes into your hand or if your belly pulls away from your hand. And right now we're just noticing, we're just gonna see what your body's doing. So hand on your lower belly and we'll do this together. Take a big breath in. Okay, did you notice if your belly pushed out when you did this, or did your belly draw inward? So ideally, to have good pressure management, you want to feel your hand draw back away from your hand. So maybe try this a couple times and see, okay, can I blow into the balloon while drawing the navel in? If that is not something that you're able to do right now, it's totally fine. It's just to determine where your starting point is. So for you, we're just gonna work on some deep core strengthening, some coordination with your breath, and then ease into the balloon and pressure piece of this. If you're like, cool, okay, I can draw my navel away from my hand, then let's go into the pelvic floor piece. So before we use the balloon with this, I want to just do kind of a correct pelvic floor engagement with you. So you want to feel a squeeze, and that's kind of like the elevator doors closing is how I like to think about it. So you're going to feel a squeeze, and that's going to feel like you're trying to hold urine back, right? The second piece is the lift. So once you have the squeeze, see if you can lift your pelvic floor muscle up. So that's where I like to think about, you close the elevator doors as a squeeze, and then you lift the elevator up is the lift of the pelvic floor. Okay, the other key with this is, did you notice if your legs started to clench or your butt started to clench? So can you do this engagement, and it might be less than what you just did, squeezing and lifting the pelvic floor in a range that you don't have to clench with your legs. So that's step one. Step two is integrating your deep core muscles along with that. So let's do it with breath. You're gonna inhale, feel the belly go out into your hands so you have a good expansion in the core muscles. Then as you exhale, try to feel the squeeze and then the lift of that elevator as the belly button draws back away from the hand. Inhale, let the muscle go, let your belly go. Notice if your legs turned on. And then try it again. Exhale, navel in, squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. Keep the legs nice and relaxed as you do it. And then inhale, release. It's important to try to do this on the exhale because naturally when you exhale, your pelvic floor lifts. And so you're just reinforcing the lift. As you inhale, your diaphragm lowers and your pelvic floor lowers, so you naturally get kind of a lengthening with it. But again, that's something else for another time. Let's try to do this with the balloon. So place your hand back on your belly. You're gonna try to coordinate the drawing in of the belly with the pelvic floor squeeze and lift as you blow into the balloon. This is meant to be challenging. Okay, so let's do this together. So take a big breath in, allow your belly to kind of expand a little, and then let's exhale, find those three pieces. Okay, did that feel successful to you? Again, it's okay if it didn't, But ideally, you want to be able to feel the squeeze, the lift, and the belly drawing in without the legs clenching while you blow into the balloon. So that's going to be really good inner abdominal pressure management, is knowing that you can use your musculature to help with the pressure that you're creating with the balloon, so you have a good muscular supportive system with this. Okay, if you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on, what's the next step to this? You're gonna come onto all fours with me. So we're gonna go onto hands and knees. You're still gonna need the balloon. And even though everything we're doing is exactly the same, being in this position is a little more challenging than seated. Okay, so you're gonna grab the balloon, take a breath in, allow the belly to relax down, and then you're gonna exhale into this guy. So let's do that together. Inhale. Okay, was that successful? It's a little bit different. The key things are, can you feel those three pieces we talked about? And can you do it without clenching and tucking your butt, right? So we will do core exercises where there will be a pelvic tilting involved to get your kind of front or core muscles engaged. But for the purpose of what we're doing right now, I want you to make sure you can sustain a neutral pelvic position and all of your posture muscles turn on while doing that pressure management. So if you're like, whoa, that was a whole different story, then that's kind of your starting point, right? If you're like, okay, let's keep going, I'm ready for the next piece, we're gonna go into a knee hover. So it is exactly the same thing, but this time you're gonna try to keep the knees hovered and then do the exhale and blow into the balloon and still feel the belly lift and the pelvic floor engage. So I'm gonna walk you through it without the balloon so you can hear me cue you. You're gonna bring the hands and knees down, tuck your toes this time. Take a big breath in, lift up the knees, and then exhale, blow into the balloon while feeling your belly engage and lift, and feel the squeeze and the lift of the pelvic floor. See if you can stay as you inhale, and then exhale again, blow one more time, feel the belly lift and feel the pelvic floor squeeze and lift as well, and then start to lower the knees down. So if that's something that you're still like, cool, I can still get that, you're probably in a really great place for strengthening the core and the pelvic floor, and it might be a tension thing that you need to lean into a little more. So the pelvic floor lengthening, maybe some spinal mobility, some hip opening, that would probably be the route I would start to take you down. But if you're someone who's like, oh my gosh, this is so challenging to do, then that's where we would start to work the integration of the deep core, of the pelvic floor, coordinated with the breath. And then once you get all of those kind of integrated together, then the symptoms should start to decrease a little bit. Okay, well, I hope that was really helpful. If you have any other questions, I have a link below that will send you right to my booking page, and I have a free consult that you can schedule if you want to, and we can talk about where you're at if you have any questions with this and kind of what direction you should take. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.